It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as Kurt Angle reveals AEW and Impact Wrestling made him an offer to return to the ring. Are AEW set to go head-to-head with WWE SmackDown? And Vince McMahon gives his thoughts on All Elite Wrestling. All that and more coming up in today's video, but first... At the most recent NXT taping at the Capitol Wrestling Center, where they were recording several shows ahead of time, a fan was escorted out of the building due to them tweeting photographs and notes from the show. The fan in question was JJ Williams, who works for the Wrestling Observer's Figure 4 Wrestling Online, with Williams claiming that security took a copy of his ID and made him delete any photographs he had taken on his phone before being removed from the property. He posted his story on Twitter and said, "Last week I was singled out and removed from the TV taping due to my association with WONF4W. Security took a picture of my ID, had me delete the photos from my phone and escorted me off the property. My time and devotion will no longer be given to their company going forward. It was never my intention to be a problem or cause any issues for the promotion. None of my tweets were on the hashtag, yet I was told my social media was being monitored. A majority of those in attendance, including media representatives, were sharing results with no consequences." Williams, who also attends some Florida-based AEW shows, received a reply from AEW president Tony Khan, who said, "See you at AEW Dynamite Homecoming, JJ. We're looking forward to your visit." There has been no public statement from WWE regarding the incident at this time, but it doesn't exactly frame them in a good light. It seems that they're looking to make an example of Williams with a clampdown on spoilers from their shows. On the most recent episode of Dynamite, AEW main evented the show with a no-rules match between Chris Jericho and Nick Gage. During the match, Nick Gage sliced the head of Jericho with a pizza cutter right before a picture-in-picture commercial break. A Domino's pizza ad was then shown, which led to many people to think that this was some kind of genius attempt at cross-promotion. It turns out this isn't the case, and Domino's are said to have not been aware of the spot, which led to them releasing a statement which reads, "We share the concerns expressed about this incident and the content of this TV-14 rated program and are assessing our advertising presence on it going forward." The family-friendly pizza company may be set to pull their ads from AEW Dynamite, which could lead to a backlash from TNT or could even see other advertisers follow suit. It should be noted that AEW are said to have given a heads up to TNT about the match. I guess we'll have to wait for a further response from Domino's regarding the spot, and perhaps something will be worked out. This incident could force AEW to tone things down going forward if more advertisers threaten to pull ads from their shows. Or maybe this could lead to a partnership with Pizza Hut. And quickly, just before we continue, make sure you scroll down and drop a like and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss any upcoming wrestling content as we head towards 20,000 subscribers. But now that you've done that, let's get on with the rest of the video. Next up, Fightful recently spoke with WWE Hall of Famer and Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, who revealed he has received offers to get back into the ring. Angle revealed that following his release from WWE in April 2020, he was offered deals with both AEW and Impact Wrestling. The AEW offer was for a quote run, which implies that it was a multi-match deal, but Kurt felt he was too beat up to physically compete at the level that he once did. If you recall, there was a lot of talk about Kurt Angle joining AEW in February for the Revolution pay-per-view, but the timing of his offer wasn't specified. In terms of Impact Wrestling, he revealed their offer was a one-shot deal, although he never seriously considered it. Again, no specifics were given on when the offer was made. Whilst a Kurt Angle return sounds great in theory, his body has been through a hell of a lot, and I think staying away was the right decision. Next up, we have an update regarding the first dance edition of AEW Rampage live from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. The show is expected to host the debut of CM Punk in All Elite Wrestling following various teases on AEW Dynamite. When the new Rampage show was announced, AEW revealed it would air at 10 p.m. Eastern on Friday nights, which is directly following WWE's Friday Night SmackDown. However, on the AEW website, Rampage is listed at starting at the same time as SmackDown, PM, 7 PM Central, and 8 PM Eastern. This is also mirrored on Ticketmaster, who show the same start time. This has many wondering if AEW are planning a head-to-head show with SmackDown to ignite a Friday night war. Personally, I don't think this will be the case, and it's nothing more than a red herring, with AEW likely planning on recording AEW Dark Elevation beforehand, which is typically around 2 hours long. It certainly would be an interesting move to make, and AEW did recently run Dynamite on Friday nights in the 10 PM Eastern slot, and it pretty much halved their viewership. This was due to not only the change in night, but a later time slot also means less people are watching television. It makes me wonder if the buzz around CM Punk's debut could see them go up against SmackDown instead, even if for only one night, and it would certainly be a move that would get a lot of people talking and tuning in. Yesterday, Vince McMahon was present during WWE's Q2 2021 earnings call, which sees investors asking questions to higher-ups within the company. One investor brought up All Elite Wrestling, noting that AEW are heavily investing in their roster and are gaining viewership, particularly in the 18 to 49 key demo. They asked if this could see WWE and AEW competing for media rights in the future, and if this is a riding tides lift all boats type of situation like there was back in the day with WCW. Vince then responded, "Well, it certainly is not a situation where rising tides, because that was when Ted Turner was coming after us with all of Time Warner's assets as well. That was a different situation. AEW is where they are. I don't really know what their plans are, all I know is what our plans are." Vince went on to dismiss AEW as competition and also dismissed their talent roster by saying, "I don't consider them competition in the way I would consider WCW back in the day, not anywhere near close to that. And I'm not so sure what their investments are as far as their talent is concerned, but perhaps we can give them some more." I mean, if CM Punk and Daniel Bryan do end up in AEW, that's a huge investment that can't be ignored and should see a return in revenue through not only merchandising, but through increased viewership. It's clear Vince is shrugging them off as to not put AEW over, as he's never going to publicly admit to them being competition, which is understandable to some degree. WWE President Nick Khan took over and added that WWE sees everything as competition, which must be everything but AEW according to Vince. But Nick said, "I think the way we always look at these situations, is sort of like a horse race where the horse has blinders on. We're looking straight ahead at our lane and making sure that we stay in front of the pack. At the same time, everything is our competition." Someone had a line a couple of weeks ago that we all chuckled at and agreed with: sleep is our competition, right? Khan has summed up WWE better than anyone else could have by saying they're in a horse race where the horse has blinders on. It seems they're not only blind to their competition, but they're also blind to their fans. But either way, he continued on and said, "If it was up to us, people could be up 24 hours a day watching content from different content providers, hopefully including ours. So we don't look at any organization particularly as competition, yet we see everything as competition with what they're trying to do in terms of eyeballs." This is a common thought within media distributors, the gaming industry, and any business that requires people's attention. Sites like YouTube are competing with games like Fortnite, because if you're playing Fortnite, you're not watching YouTube's ads. The same with WWE, if you're not watching WWE on Peacock, they're competing with whatever you're doing with your time. This kind of talk can be found in modern day conferences and business meetings all over the world, so it's no surprise that WWE sees things this way. However, to say AEW isn't competition to WWE while saying everything is competition kind of contradicts itself, especially when they're in the same industry and they have made several moves to counter AEW's business in the past. AEW may not be close to WWE in terms of global recognition, but they haven't seen a competitor come this close to them in viewership in the States since WCW. This week, AEW got around 60% of the viewers Raw did, which is a better comparison than SmackDown, as Raw and Dynamite are both on cable. The percentage is even closer in the key demo. Things are certainly heating up in AEW, and that 60% could soon turn into 80% and eventually 100% if the current trends continue. And before you go, why not check out my video where I discuss 5 ways that AEW could book the debut of CM Punk.